What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We are back in the garage right now. Today we actually have a quick video coming out. It's going to be simply changing the oil on the Fusion. Why do I want to do an oil change video? Well, some people may not know how to change their oil. I've seen some videos where people actually encounter different things underneath these Fusions. There's actually different setups is what I found, which is totally weird, but nonetheless, that's why I'm doing it today. So first things first, what you want to do is actually get the vehicle up in the air, because Fusions are real low to the ground. You can't really get underneath them like I can do with the truck over there. What I actually have is a pair of tire ramps. You can use a jack and jack stands as well. I'll actually double up and put them up on the ramps as well as put jack stands behind it just to be extra safe. I'll get it up on the ramps and we'll get started. So tools you'll need for this project today, guys, is a ratchet, a 15mm socket, an extension, a drill adapter, a 4mm Allen wrench or a 4mm drill adapter, an oil filter wrench, some safety glasses, 2 jack stands, an oil funnel, a drill, some shop towels or a shop rag, an oil drain pan, 2 tire ramps or a jack could work as well. You'll need 5.7 US quarts of 5W20 motor oil, some oil resistant gloves, and of course your oil filter. But first, we're actually going to turn this fan on because it's extremely hot in Arizona as always. The sun is actually down. It's just after 7 o'clock. But as you can see in the garage here, it's still 102 damn hot. Here in Arizona, you can't expect anything less, which is mainly the reason why I moved here. Because I hate the cold, but then again, 102 at night is extremely hot. I guess we're just gonna have to sweat through this and keep going. Well, actually, I'm gonna have to sweat through this. You guys are probably watching this from the comfort of your home in your AC. I'm not, so I'm gonna try to get this done quickly because it's really hot and I don't wanna drench all my clothes. Alright guys, so we have the vehicle up on the ramps now, and like I said before, make sure you put some jack stands down. It just adds a little extra blanket of security because you're going to be working underneath this vehicle. And well, yes, the tire ramps work good on getting the vehicle up, but I don't 100% trust them, so once again, that's why I have the jack stands. Alright guys, so we're just about to make our way underneath the vehicle. This is when you go ahead and throw in your gloves to keep your hands clean because you want to get any used oil on your hands. And more importantly, your safety glasses because you don't want to get any dirt, debris, or oil into your eyes because that would be very bad. Ask me how I know, it hurts a lot, yes. I also went ahead and threw on this little headlight, hopefully to help you guys be able to see, as well as help myself see, so you can check out what we're gonna be doing underneath the vehicle. Alright guys, now we're underneath the vehicle, and this is where you'll probably encounter your first difference potentially. I actually have a 2014 Ford Fusion with the 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine, and mine actually came with a huge splash guard that goes pretty much the entire front of the vehicle, from right up here just below the radiator all the way back to behind the front axles. I used to have a Fusion before this one, also 2014, but it actually had cutouts for where the oil filter was as well as where the drain plug was. But if you do have this giant piece of plastic or whatever this is made of, this is what you do to get it off. There's actually 12 little screws here, and those little screws are actually a 4mm Allen wrench, but I have this special adapter here that I'm actually going to attach to my drill because it makes the process go a whole lot quicker. Pretty much 5 up front and the remainder actually go all the way around. So we have to take this off before we can do anything else, which I'll do right now. Alright guys, now you can actually see where the oil drain plug as well as the oil filter is. So your drain plug is back here and it faces back towards the back of the vehicle. And as I said earlier, you guys are going to need your 15mm socket and of course the wrench as well. And that's what you use to take that off. As well as it's extremely helpful to get you an oil filter wrench. These things are nearly impossible to get off with your hands, especially after several thousand miles. So yeah, I highly recommend you get this guy once again. Now that you know where the drain plug is and the oil filter are, we'll go ahead and get it unplugged and get it draining. Get you some shop towels or some type of oil rag. You can wipe off your oil plug as well as your gloves if you got some extra oil on it. And yeah, it just helps keep it a lot cleaner underneath here, even though it's fairly dirty. So I'll let this drip a little bit more, and then we'll actually take off the oil filter and have it drip out as well. So let me slide this forward just a bit, just so we can have them both drain at the same time. I'll loosen that guy up. And as you can see, oil will come out of where the oil filter is as well. So kind of let that drain out before you fully take it off. It'll make it a lot easier and you don't get a lot of oil on your hands. Alright, now that most of the oil is drained out of the filter, I'll go ahead and unscrew it the rest of the way. And then I'll tip it over into the oil pan and we can let it fully drain out. Just like that. One thing I want to show you guys up close, hopefully you can see, is actually just the oil filter surface, or where it actually screws onto. You want to clean off all the excess old oil off of that and have that as a nice clean surface. And then pretty much we'll just have it prepped and ready for the new oil filter to get on. But yeah, that's one thing you want to do, is just clean that surface off, as well as just wipe up any residual that falls onto the oil case. You can actually use some brake cleaner. I don't have any at the moment, but that actually cleans this off very well and prevents dirt from building up on it. One thing that I'd recommend doing every time you do an oil change is actually taking your new oil filter and actually kind of pre-filling it up with some of the new oil. It kind of prevents the vehicle from actually starting kind of in a dry state, because it has to put all the oil into the filter, have it circulate through, and then once again get back up to the top of the engine. So that's one thing I recommend, is filling this up first. You may have to do it a couple times over, because as you fill it up, it slowly is going to actually seep into the sides of the oil filter. It filled up once, I'm going to let it settle down just a little bit and I'll pour again. And there we have it, guys. It's pretty much filled up. It's not really settling down anymore. One more thing you guys want to do before you actually install this guy in there is actually wet the O-ring itself with a little bit of the new oil. That just, once again, just kind of helps soften it up, and then it's supposed to prevent it from actually seizing up underneath the engine due to all the heat. I've never not done this, so I don't know, but nonetheless, it's just something that you're always going to want to do. Back under the vehicle, once again, you just want to clean off the surface here before you actually put the new oil filter on, and that's going to make that surface nice and prepped and ready for it. As well as, once again, use the shop towels just to kind of clean up the excess oil, just to prevent a lot of dirt from getting stuck on there. That's pretty much good for now. Now you'll go ahead and take your new oil filter, which has the O-ring lubed on it, as well as the spot for it ready to go, and you'll simply just screw it back in. And what I'll do, guys, I'll just keep going until it gets just tight, and then I'll actually just turn it like about another half turn, because that O-ring is going to do its job and it's going to seal it, so you won't have to worry about it. But you just don't want to over tighten this thing, because it's going to be extremely hard to actually get it off the next time. Alright, now our little drain plug has pretty much stopped dripping, so I'm just going to give it a little quick wipe off. Then we'll go ahead and take the plug and we'll put it back in there. So they recommend tightening this oil drain plug to 21 foot-pounds. To me, that seems like kind of a lot, because it's just a plug. It's not actually holding anything like an actual structural bolt. So what I do is I just, once again, like you've seen in my other videos, I'll hold the wrench higher up on it so I can take away some of the lever arm, and I'll just give it a nice good snug from there. For me, I feel like that's comfortable. And just like that, nice snug, that's not going anywhere. And we are pretty much done down here at the bottom. Now we made it to the top of the vehicle. What I didn't show off camera was actually me installing back on that big old splash guard, because it's a pain in my butt, and I didn't think you guys really were interested in watching that part. I always go full synthetic. I like to go 5,000 to 6,000 miles between my oil change. So this guy actually takes 5.7 US quarts, so that's pretty much going to take all of this, as well as a little bit of the spare that I have from my previous oil changes. We're just literally just going to pour in every single bit of this jug, and then we'll pour in that last 0.7 from that jug. One thing I wanted to point out, guys, is we did fill up the oil filter, which takes a little bit of it, but once again, I used this full 5-quart jug to fill up that oil filter. So between that and this, pretty much it adds up to 5, which is real simple. Just in case you're using different jugs, just remember, when you do put oil in your oil filter, that is an amount that you want to account for when you actually filling this thing up. Now that you got your engine filled up from the top, it is good to go ahead and close it. Just like always, keep a shop towel nearby just in case you leak a little bit. But in this case, we did a good job and didn't spill anything. So go ahead and put your oil cap back on, and we'll move on to the next part. Guys, one more thing you need to do before you're actually fully done with your vehicle is actually dispose of your old oil. One thing I like to do is actually just put it back into the container that I got the new oil in. This actually does two things. Gives you, for one, a good container to store the oil in that won't leak out, and two, it gives you a good idea of just how your engine is doing, because of course these jugs are marked with the capacity, so you can actually kind of see just how much oil your vehicle has consumed, in a ballpark estimate rather. But nonetheless, old oil into the jug, good to go. So now we have the old oil into the jug, and like I said before, you can actually kind of see just how much oil the vehicle consumed, which in this case was pretty much none at all. So that's always some good reassuring information to have. So that's what you can do. Guys, you are now pretty much done. Last but not least, just make sure your oil cap is on. And I'm actually going to back it up, take it off of the ramps, and move the jack stands because we want to measure just to see how the oil level is using the oil dipstick. But of course, you have to have it on a flat surface, which with the ramps, it's not. So take out your dipstick, give it a good wipe, put it back in, all the way down real quick, come back out. And hopefully you guys can see on the camera, but it's like right in the middle of the crosshatch hairs, which pretty much means we are perfect and good to go. One more thing I forgot to mention, guys, is you actually have to reset your oil light. So as you can see right there, it says oil change required, but that's what we just finished. So what you'll simply do is actually just go back out to your menu, go to settings, go all the way down to vehicle, and if you scroll down a little ways, you'll see where it says oil life reset, and you actually click that. And as you can see, I have mine set to 50% because the computer on these Ford Fusions, or at least my 2.5 liter Ford Fusion, it's set for 10,000 mile oil change intervals, which I will never do. So like I said, I do about 5,000 to 6,000 miles using full synthetic. So you'll make sure you're on 50%, you'll click it, and that's literally it. You back out to the main screen, and you can turn your vehicle off and wait a little bit and turn it right back to the on position, and no more oil required. So that's the last thing you need to do. And just like that, guys, you now know how to change your oil in your Ford Fusion. This guy here is a 2014 with the 2.5 liter engine, which it's real simple to do. As you guys saw, the only thing I really run into is just that bulky splash guard, which you may or may not actually have. I'm gonna go ahead and head inside because I'm extremely hot right now. It's actually still 100 degrees in this garage, which is crazy because it's nighttime. But nonetheless, I guess that's what you get with Arizona. But as always, guys, thank you for watching this video. You're watching Everything Avron. Of course, I'm Avron. I'll see y'all in the next one.